And welcome to Winning Retirement Television. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. Kristen, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. You have my favorite color on. It matches my car.
Aw. And I was going to say, I think you look stunningly beautiful today. And again, I love your hair. I know I talked about it last week, but you look so fresh and so beautiful.
Thank you.
And Greg, you look awfully
dapper. And I'm here
dapper.
Too, yes.
It's so good to see you. You look dapper. You both look amazing, which I think is absolutely just astronomical because I know how busy you are. Not only are you doing the television shows, but you have a very successful radio podcast as well. And you just have so much going on in the office, but you always take time to come into the studio and look fabulous and deliver amazing content to the viewers at home. So thank you both so very much.
You make it fun. We love seeing you.
Yes.
Love seeing you too.
And in the midst of all that, we have 3 boys.
Yes. Busy boys.
Oh, busy boys between sports and, you know, just all the fun stuff in life. And it's really awesome.
Well, I love following you both on social media because I get to see a day in the life of what it's really like running around with the boys, working at the office, your beautiful little dog, Belle.
Yes, Belle, Jaden covering himself with blankets and singing songs and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where he gets the singing part, right?
He's a ham. He wants to be seen. Jaden wants to do it in private, but he wants to do it. So
I think that's amazing. Well, I'm just so blessed to be with both of you today. And, you know, obviously there's so much negativity out there right now in the news front, if you will. And retirees are feeling a little bit nervous. We've got the situations that are always going on in the government. We have inflation, we have stock market volatility. But at the end of the day, I should ask you, is there anything that people can do in retirement or preparing for retirement that would make them feel a little more confident and would have more peace of mind? Greg?
Well, there is. I'm going to take over because I just
you
thought of something.
You always want to take over.
I know. Wait, if I don't talk first, I don't get a word in anyways. Wait, Did I say that right?
You did.
You did.
Okay,
I got one right. Yay.
But, you know, we had the privilege of interviewing Kenny Chesney a number of years ago. I'm trying to think of when that was. Maybe 5 years ago now?
I think so.
In Las Vegas for his Noise concert. He was doing a new project. And when we interviewed him, we were asking him what was the inspiration behind the song Noise. And I thought it was so interesting what he said. He said something to the effect of that sometimes you just have to buckle in and block everything out and pay attention to what truly matters. And he's only able to do that because he is meticulous about planning every detail of every show he puts on.
That's fantastic.
I mean, I was so impressed by this man. I'm not a huge country music fan. I'll listen to it, but I don't know all the songs and all the things. But I mean, to the sound syncing perfectly with the music and things being just exactly where they need to be. I mean, he is a perfectionist of all perfectionists.
Wow, I love that.
And because of that, he's able to block out because he knows when he goes on stage and goes to perform, it's going to be just right. He's able to block out a lot of the things that get in the way. You know, in the music industry, I'm sure there's all kinds of things that get in the way of you running your business because that's what they are, business owners.
Right.
And running it properly. And so I think that translates perfectly to you watching right now today. Maybe you're sitting and having a cup of coffee and thinking, okay, how am I going to block out all this noise and get down to what really matters when it comes to my investments? How am I going to make sure I pay attention to what I need to pay attention to, but block the other things out?
Right.
And so I think it's possible. A lot of times we talk about our personal economy versus the global economy or the national economy. And it's important to say, okay, what things truly matter and what things can I just turn off sometimes?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, in Cynthia, my 30-plus years, it's hard to believe, over 30 years working with retirees.
Wow.
What a privilege, you know?
That is. What an honor.
And through my 30-plus years, I've seen people discouraged about a number of things, whether it's politics or whether it's market volatility, whether it's healthcare concerns. You know, we just had, we just had a lady in the office, and she and her husband had only been clients for maybe a year and a half.
Okay.
But last summer, they came in to let me know that he was suffering from cancer, then it didn't look good.
Oh, okay.
So a few weeks ago, she came in, and now we're taking care of things because he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so, but here's what she said to me. She said, Greg, thank you so much for praying for my husband. And she said, thank you that because of the plan we put together, I'm not worrying.
Yeah, so having a plan's important.
Oh, it is. So what I want to talk about today, and, excuse me for getting so emotional, but...
No, because now I am too. We both are.
I want to give people 3 secrets to feeling secure in their retirement, because we don't know what's going to happen in Washington. We don't know what is going to happen with the stock market. We don't know what's going to happen with legislation. And we don't know what's going to happen in this old world of ours.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know any of those things. But here's what we can know. We know what we have today, and now we need secret number 1, a written plan. A written plan. Now, what is a plan anyway?
Well, I can tell you it's not a hope.
Not Bob Hope?
Plan is not
A plan is not a hope. What does the Bible say? Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Yeah.
Right? So when you think ahead and say, I hope I'm going to have enough money to live through my retirement years. I hope I'm not going to run out of money. I hope my spouse is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Those things are great. It's great to care and to hope that that's going to be okay. But the only way to combat that hope is to actually put a plan in place so that you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so that's an important part of a plan, I think.
It really is. And a plan is just not having just a 401k or an IRA or money saved. I mean, those are all,
Piles of money, right?
Yeah, piles of money.
That's what I always call it.
And don't get me wrong, it's important to have money so that you can, you have the ingredients to make a plan, right?
Absolutely.
I love chocolate chip cookies, as you can well tell, but I love them. But if I say, Kristen, would you please make some chocolate chip cookies? And she may say, well, I have no chocolate chips. Well, then we can't really make the cookies, right?
Nope.
So you need to have some elements of a plan, but it's not just money, and it's not just having an advisor. And, we recently had a couple come in that had been with their broker for a number of years, one of the big box brokers, and actually a pretty good guy, but he had run what they call a Monte Carlo simulation. Yeah. And so from the simulation, he said, I believe you're going to be about 89% assured that you're not going to outlive your money. And so no really suggestion as to how to make it any better. And she and her husband came in and they said, 89% seemed like a decent number, but it didn't really make us feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
So a Monte Carlo simulation really isn't a plan either.
Right.
So
where's the other 11%?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a possibility that you could outlive your money that way. So in our practice, we call the 4 elements of a plan. So it starts with our goals. What do we want to achieve? It's kind of like building a house, right? If you're going to build a house, you have to decide what style of house you want in the first place, right? Do I want a 1-story? Do I want a 2-story? Do I want it to be, French country? Do I want it to be more, contemporary? Modern. Yeah, modern.
Yeah.
All those things. And you start with an idea of what it is you want, and then you start building what?
Foundation.
Yeah. But you need plans, right?
Foundation, plans, all of it.
What if the builder came to you, Cynthia, and said, I have it all in my head. Just trust me, it's going to work out for your good. You're going to have a beautiful house.
Don't feel too good about that,
Right,
do you?
exactly. Nope, I need to see it. I'm a visual.
Yeah, so you're going to have plans. And we at one time were going to build a house. And we started going through the plan process. And we, I don't know how many renditions we went through, but overall, it was becoming a thing, and we didn't end up building a house, right? But ultimately, we want to have a plan that makes sense. So it starts with our goals. Then we look at and say, okay, are things the same when you retire as before you retire? Well, no, they're not. So understanding all the parts of a plan and then putting it all together, that is really what it starts with. Having a written plan.
Oh, it's so important just for peace of mind in the retirement years. Well, Greg, I know that you and Kristen have a very special offer to present to our viewers at home. Let's talk about what that is today before we open up the phone lines.
Well, for sure, because, a written plan is great, but what does a written plan even entail, right?
True.
So a written plan really encompasses all of the things that are important to you. So making sure that your investments are efficient, that you have enough income to last your entire lifetime, that taxes aren't going to derail your retirement. What about health care? Has anybody really nailed that down for you? And whatever's left over, getting it to the people you love as efficiently as possible, making sure nothing's slipping through the cracks in any of those areas, and having a written plan, income plan and everything that's tailored to your specific needs. So for the first 10 callers, pick up the phone. I couldn't talk. My tongue got wrapped around my eye tooth. I couldn't see what I was saying, right?
I knew what you meant.
614-336-7660.
Greg, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen, 614-336-7660. We're going to take a very short commercial break here on Winning Retirement TV, but when we come back, you may have heard Greg and Kristen mention the 3-bucket approach. We're going to talk about what that is when it comes to your personal retirement. Stay tuned.
Living a life is building a legacy of milestones, your first home, raising your children, becoming grandparents, and memories. From the first steps across the living room floor to the walk down the aisle, at every stage, your family is the most important part of your life, and you want to protect them now and in the future. Which is why the decisions you make today are so important. You've worked hard to provide a better life for your loved ones. Now is the time to make sure that lasts. Build a legacy that will influence generations to come. Plan smart. Retire well with Legacy Retirement Group.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. And such a great show we're having today, talking about the most important thing, a plan.
Yeah.
And Kristen and Greg, you're so passionate about the 3-bucket approach, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, but I'd like to break that down today for our viewers at home. Why is the 3-bucket approach so important?
Well, it's all part of having a written plan,
Okay.
the 3-bucket approach, because you have your emergency bucket. I call that your sleep well at night money.
I love that, the SWAN.
Yes. Having money in the bank and you feel like you have money to take care of things when they crop up. Your income bucket, that's there to help you live your lifestyle. That's the paychecks that you're providing for yourself in retirement.
Okay.
And we want to use the absolute least amount of money possible to accomplish your income goal in that bucket. We don't want to tie up too much for income. The rest is in your growth bucket.
Okay.
So that growth bucket, we just want to be efficient with risk. If someone's looking to get, say an 8 to 10% average rate of return, which would be wonderful, right?
Okay.
We want to take the least amount of risk possible to accomplish that goal. So all in all, we're trying to be more efficient.
Yeah, while you're talking there, I thought about Jaden. So a lot of times Jaden just is perfect for illustrations and what we do because he's such a unique little boy. But he has these bags he carries around.
Yes.
And I mean, he needs another bag like he needs a hole in the head. He's got more bags than I do. But book bags, fanny packs, tote bags, and each bag has a purpose.
Okay.
So there's one particular bag that has a Nintendo on the front. It's a Nintendo, old school Nintendo, from the 80s.
Yes.
And that bag is his electronics bag.
Okay.
The only thing that's allowed to be in that bag are electronics, and he will have a fit if you stick something else in there because that's all that's for. There's another bag that's smaller, and it's got his important Beyblades, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
The little spinny, they're like tops, but updated to look like Transformers or something.
Yes, and then if your Beyblade's better, it causes the other one to burst.
Right, so
and
his
fall apart.
special ones are in this bag. And then he's got another bag with another category of toys. And then the rest of it's just all over his room, right?
Okay.
But what's funny about that is I think that the importance on each of the buckets is different from family to family. So one family may have that great big Nintendo bag as their swan money because they just feel comfortable. And sometimes it's the wife, sometimes it's even the husband that just needs a certain amount in that account. So you may be sitting there thinking, okay, I understand that. I want money in that account because if I want to go shop a sale or buy a new couch or go on a vacation, I want to have that money available because I'm not going to sell an investment to go buy those things, right?
Right.
So then you have that special bag, you know, that Beyblade bag that maybe is your investments, and those don't get touched by anybody. You're the only one that are allowed to use them. Or you might have another one set aside where, you know, that's money for future growth, right? So as you go through your planning process, we're picking up cues to understand what's important to you about your money. Yeah. Because everyone is different. No one's the same. Not one family is the same. And I can tell you we've been doing this, well, I've been doing this for over 16 years now. And it's always interesting to me to see the differences of opinion. But if we can account for each of those needs and concerns through this 3-bucket approach, you're that much more happy in retirement.
For sure, because we need our money to do a few things, Cynthia.
Okay.
We need it to be safe, at least some of it. We need it to be liquid.
Okay.
We need our money to grow. Some people need money to generate reliable income.
Okay.
And not one place can do everything. There is no Swiss Army knife for investing. So we need a plan. We need that plan to be written, and we need to understand why our money's in certain areas. Not one thing. So the stock market can't do it all, insurance products can't do it all, and the bank can't do it all. That's why we need the 3 buckets.
Okay. So would you say that the number 2 most important thing that people should be doing right now would be to protect your income and have a written income plan? Is that
for
number
sure.
2?
That is number 2. That is
Okay.
secret number 2.
Yay.
All right, good job. But yes, so that's secret.
She's trying to get us back on track.
Work with me here.
Yes. You say that I get off track sometimes.
No, that was me that time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, having a written income plan, and so you may be watching thinking, okay, I have a couple $1 million. Why do I need income? Well, you still have an income plan. It just may not be, you may not be needing to have X amount of dollars set so you can have that guaranteed income for life like we talk about sometimes. But you also may have a spouse that really needs that security, right? What's that book called? The Love Languages?
The five love languages. Gary Chapman.
Yeah, so everyone's different, and typically you complement each other.
Yeah.
Greg and I are totally different about finances. And so when you're looking at your income plan, it's important to really address both needs if you're married. And if you're not married, I guess you can address 2 personalities, because I sometimes have 2 that Greg has to figure out. But you really need to have that written out. Okay, where is my income coming from? Is it coming from an old pension over here? Do I have dividends that are paying me income? Do I just really need to know that this is the amount of income I'm going to get for the rest of my life? And we can plan that out accordingly. So not everyone's the same when it comes to that, but it's important to address it.
It's really important. In fact, Brent, one of the advisors in our office, met with a couple recently. They'd saved about $450,000 in their retirement portfolio, and they needed $20,000 a year for income.
Okay.
Well, had we gone by the old 50% stock, 50% bond, pull out 4% a year, all their money would have been tied up just to provide that income. In fact, they wouldn't have quite been able to really create $20,000 a year of income.
Okay.
But by using, our 3-bucket approach and using the right type of tool, we are able to take $250,000 of that to generate the $20,000 a year of income needed. That left a little over $150,000, almost $200,000 for this couple to have in their growth bucket. So not only is it about, having the 3 buckets, but it's also about helping people be more efficient with the money they have.
Thank you both so much. Greg, I know there's a very special offer you'd like to present to our viewers at home. Let's talk about what that is before we reopen the phone lines.
Part of our complete planning review, Cynthia, that we do in our office is helping people create an income plan. Because, folks, your income is where you live. I mean, your income is your vacations. It's paying the bills. It's doing things with the grandkids. It's all those things. It's the way you live. It's your lifestyle. So doesn't it make sense to protect that first and know that paycheck's coming in every single month, and then try to grow the risk, then take risk with the rest. Doesn't that make sense? If it does to you and you don't have a written income plan, the first 15 callers right now, if you pick up the phone, we're going to meet with you. We're going to help you create your own written income plan. So 614-336-7660. Pick up the phone right now, the first 15 callers. And I think it's vital that everyone that's retired anyway, have a written income plan.
I do too, Greg. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kristen.
Yes.
To our viewers at home, that number to call is 614-336-7660. You've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years, and you deserve to have the retirement of your dreams. How can you do that without a written plan? You need to have that information in front of you so that you have something to follow. Again, 614-336-7660. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We have one more secret to get through. It's secret number 3, how to plan your perfect stress-free retirement. Stay tuned.
Plan smart, retire well. How do you do that? You know, many times we meet families and they actually think they have a plan.
But what about when you want to upgrade your house? What about when your wife wants to buy new furniture?
No investment decision should be made outside the context of a plan. So what is your plan? We believe in the 3-bucket approach as it comes to your finances. Your liquid bucket, which is what I call the sleep well at night account, for when the what ifs happen in life. Your income bucket, which is there to meet the gap between Social Security, maybe a pension, and what you really want to live in. We believe you should protect that income, then grow the rest. And then your growth bucket. The growth bucket's really focusing on helping you achieve your growth goals. As you transition from your working career to retirement, we want that to be the greatest moment of your life, and we don't want you to fumble the ball.
So imagine, when you're working, you're getting a paycheck. When you're retired, you have to pay yourself. The 3-bucket approach is a really easy way for people to start compartmentalizing what they're doing with their money.
We want you to be successful in any economy. We want you to thrive no matter what's going on. You know, worry and fear and greed are the biggest problems when it comes to investing. We want to take that off the table, and we want to make sure you have a consistent growth strategy. We want you to be just as successful in your retirement plan as you were in your accumulation plan.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. A great show we're having today, talking about 3 secrets that people can utilize to have a very stress-free, wonderful retirement. So we are up to secret number 3. Greg, envelope please. What would that be?
That would be making sure you're efficient with risk.
Ooh, good one. Big one.
Well, it's huge because risk really can be a major swing. And one of the ways that we're able to really find out how much risk someone has is not by asking them the tired old questions of, are you conservative? Are you moderate? Or are you aggressive? Right?
Yes.
Because to me, those don't really define it.
No, I was going to say, what does that even mean?
Right. I mean, if we took that to politics, I mean, you know, that could go to a whole different thing, which we won't do.
We don't have time for that.
No, we do not.
Randy in the studio is going to be like, cut it.
I thought we were going to call him Bo Snerdley.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Bo.
But anyway, so with that, we have a tool that we use to help people measure
Okay.
how much risk they're comfortable with, and it's called a risk score. So the risk score can be anywhere from 1, which means you are scared to death of risk, right? I mean, I don't want any part of volatility, or 99, which means I'm living on the edge. You know, I'm ready to go skydiving.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go bungee jumping. I mean,
Zip lining.
Yep. Zip lining's not too bad.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't like zip lining.
But it's okay. I knew where you were
Yes. So 99 is very, very, very aggressive, right?
Yep.
So we need to find out, first of all, where someone is with that. You know, where do they fall between 1 and 99? And that helps define how much comfort they have between how much their portfolio can drop and how much portfolio can go up. And I recently met with a couple, and they told me that they were conservative. I said, okay, so we found out that their risk score was actually a 39, which is on the lower end of the scale. And then when I popped up their portfolio, we found out that their portfolio was a risk score of 80. And they said, you know, we thought that it was moving up and down a lot more than we were comfortable with, but our advisor told us that we were okay, that we were in a conservative portfolio. It wasn't conservative at all. Wow. I mean, it was conservative in his view, but again, that definition of terms can be very, very wide, right?
Absolutely.
And so all we're trying to do here is make sure that the portfolio fits. But what was really interesting, we were able to design for them a portfolio within their risk score. And we do something really cool. It's called a portfolio stats comparison.
Okay.
And in that comparison, we show three things. We show the current portfolio, how it's performed up and down, what the worst it would have been when it went down.
Okay.
And how much the total return would have been.
Okay.
And then we show a comparison to the benchmark. So whatever, like S&P 500 and U.S. Aggregate Bond Index, so those would be benchmark indices that we would compare to. And then finally, we use a comparison of our portfolio. What was interesting to me with this couple was that the portfolio we designed within their risk score of 39 actually had more gains than the risk score of 80 they had, and only about a third of the amount of risk. So in this case, we found out you don't always have to take more risk to get a better return.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's being efficient
Absolutely.
with risk. And one of the keys, one of the secrets to being successful in retirement is to be efficient with risk.
I love that. It makes perfect sense. Well, Greg and Kristen, I can't believe we're almost to the end of another amazing episode this week, but I know you have a very special offer to present, Greg. Let's talk about what that is before you and Kristen say goodbye.
Well, I don't always like to use medical terms, but I'm going to call it our portfolio x-ray, because right now, you probably have no idea how much risk you're actually taking. And maybe you know what your risk score would be. Maybe you're not quite sure. You'd like to find out. We'd love for you to come in, meet with us. Let's help put together a portfolio analysis for you and your family. Pick up the phone, 614-336-7660.
Greg, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, most specifically, thank you for spending time with us today on Winning Retirement TV. Be safe and be happy, be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today, and take care now. Bye-bye.